Hi, I'm Roger Peterson. Welcome back to Pro 423. Well, we're in the section of videos on recovering your healthy heart, and we're in the middle of step 3, revisit your injuries. As we're learning about that, I hope you are beginning to realize how important asking questions is. You can look at it the opposite way also, and just look at what giving advice does to a conversation. It shuts it down. When someone gives advice, it tells the other person, I'm done listening to you, this is what I think. What should we talk about next? No, the missing key to having really great conversations is asking questions. And the missing key to asking great questions is great listening. In fact, this is what I see happening most often in conversations, even while I look at myself. When I'm in the middle of a conversation with somebody, usually what I am listening for is a cue on what I should say next. And then I just look for a place to butt in and say what I'm saying. Listen to conversations. It's amazing how that goes on. What you should be doing is listening to understand, not for what you want to say next. It goes back to that old proverb, that old adage, seek not to be understood. That means I want to say something so you understand me. No. Seek to understand. If that's how you're listening, to seek to understand, then questions will be natural. I remember one time I was driving down to Portland with my friend Dan, and I was starting to share about something heavy that was going on in my heart, some stuff I'd been thinking about a past injury, and all of a sudden Dan, he loves me, and he jumped in and started giving me advice. Well, you should just, and I stopped, Dan, no, stop. Ask me 5 questions now, go. And Dan was sort of taken back at first, but he realized what I was trying to get at, and so he stopped and thought it through, and then asked me a couple of questions. And it allowed me to go to a really great place of discovery in my own heart and of processing some stuff. It even got a little emotional. But it was all because Dan started asking me questions and started helping me dig. One of my favorite moments of all time was with a friend of mine, Jeff, in Starbucks. And Jeff was helping me wrestle through some issues with my mom after she died in 1979. And he asked me a question, and I paused and I started to well up with tears because I was starting to think through what he had asked. And I started to stumble through my answer, and I would pause to regain composure. I would stumble. And Jeff, you know what he did in all of his brilliance? You know what Jeff did that moment? He didn't say a word. He could see that something was going on. He was seeing that I was revisiting an injury. He could see I was processing, and he just shut up. For about 3 or 4 minutes there in that Starbucks. He just let me wrestle with the question. It was an amazing moment of brilliance on his part because he didn't say a word. He had asked a question and he just let me process. Didn't give me advice. He just let me process. He didn't try to jump in and make me feel better. He just let me process. It was brilliant. It was a wonderful moment of healing for me. And the key is asking questions.